All right, so just a little bit of a monologue. Today we had a morning meeting at my job, and everything that I got in trouble for on Tuesday became a reality for the management today. Everything I accused them of not doing, including the senior manager today, was revealed in a 1 hour, I don't know what you would call it, like depressing sentiment of every employee that I work with about how things are messed up. But that's what management has to hear. They have to hear that things are messed up because a lot of the executive people, they are so disconnected from reality that once they find out how messed up the people who are beneath them, how bad they are at their jobs, that they kind of like scratch their heads and like, oh my God, if Millennials team hadn't said anything, we would have continued to believe that everything was fine, that everything was hunky dory, and that we were steaming ahead in a progressive way, which it turns out that they didn't want to hear. Sometimes you don't want to hear the truth, and that's why this channel exists. A lot of people would prefer to believe that our society's fine, and if you're poor, it's self inflicted, that you choose to be poor. And I'm like, no one chooses to live where I live. I mean, I've spent the last hour and a half preparing my roach infested piece of crap apartment in a piece of crap apartment complex with piece of crap management for fumigation tomorrow. The last time they fumigated my apartment, my roach problem became by far more intense. I had a few bugs crawling around in my refrigerator, in my freezer, everywhere that you can imagine cockroaches would be, they were there. But anyhow, but that's beside the point. So today's video is inspired by a comment that someone left a few hours ago, and I wanted to read what ChatGPT gave me after I submitted that comment. So it gave me two different paragraphs, and I'm going to read each one. I'm going to comment on them, and I hope that these hit a nerve with people who are listening to me because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to make you understand that this system that we are all in doesn't like us, doesn't want us here, and mostly that it would benefit if we would all just shut up, put our heads down, and accept that the minimum wage is a living wage. All right, monologue over. Here we go. So, our two talking points are the illusion of benevolence and the intentional exploitation for control. We know who's exploiting you because Fleece is always on the move and looking to make a score. All right, so let's get into it. Many people in power, especially corrupt elites, maintain a facade of caring through PR campaigns or surface level policies like wellness programs. We currently have a wellness program at my Evil Corp. And some of the topics you just kind of wonder, it's like people are suffering in the world right now. And the best you can do with your wellness program is create teams, 10 people teams, for a game of trivia. Like, really? A trivia game? When people can't afford to eat, people are lonely, people aren't getting raises, people are struggling to pay the rent, people are being evicted, and you're going to do these ridiculous surface level policies that don't help anyone? Like, truly, the evil of Evil Corp seeps out of its rear end every single day, no pun intended. However, their actions often reveal a deeper indifference as they implement systems that prioritize profits over human well being. These decision makers are so removed from the daily struggle of workers that they don't even see the harm they cause, or worse, they see it and simply don't care. When you're going to offer a job that doesn't have benefits, that doesn't have regular hours, that doesn't have a the opportunity to increase the wages, what are you really signing up for? A North Korean prison camp? Is that really what work has come down to in America? Is that every evil corp has just become an internment camp where you go, you have to smile because if you don't smile, then it shows that you're not happy at work and someone comes out of just a random room and tasers you tasers the hell out of you until you smile at work. And every time you think about not smiling, your rear end puckers up because you know that you could be tasered yet again. The shot collar at work to keep you smiling, to keep the illusion that you're happy at work going. Because I've been called a dismal fellow at work. I'm not at work to have a good time. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be around the people I work with. I don't really think that this job is going anywhere. This job is the equivalent of working in a 7-Eleven, except you're not going to be held up every single night for the 20 bucks you have in your cash drawer. That's how all jobs are in America. To me, every job has some traits in common with working in a Dairy Queen. It's just you go, you put in your time, and then at the end of the day, once your soul's been crushed, you return back to your crummy place, the only place you can afford to live in society, and you don't want to live there any more than you wanted that 8 hour shift at Garbage Corps because it's the only job you can find. For me, I have to stay here because it's the highest paying job that I can currently find. And I know there's not going to be any raises this year. I can feel it already because instead of giving through for the well-being of your employees, the wellness program might as well be an anti-wellness program. And I've been saying this for a year. Anti-human resources is there so that they can pay you less, treat you like crap, and then protect the people, protect the corporation from a potential disgruntled employee, which I definitely am. Talking point number two. In some cases, it's not just indifference, but active exploitation. Certain power structures are designed to keep people in a constant state of dependency and fatigue, whether it's through stagnant wages, limited opportunities for advancement, excessive work demands. The system deliberately keeps workers in survival mode, ensuring that they never rise to where they can challenge the status quo. It's not just an oversight, people. It's a feature of the system. Ensuring that you never have people who can rise up because people who rise up get put down. That's what happens in a society that values success over the well being of all of its workers because there has to be winners and losers. And the vast majority of us have to be losers. Evil Corp can't survive in a world where living wages exist. Living wages are for the executives. Everyone else can suck it. That's really what it comes down to. The status quo is going to a job that you hate every single morning, coming home, feeling like garbage, feeling your neck hurting if you're like me and you're sitting at a computer all day leaning over. Sometimes when I'm sitting in my cubicle, I can feel the chains that attach to my desk and some sadistic guard behind me watching me, telling me that I can work faster. In fact, I said this to Gen Z and pissed him off today. It's like, you don't have to focus on doing just one thing. You are capable of doing more than one thing at a time. And he scoffed at the idea of doing more than one thing at a time. Because when he focuses in on what he's doing, he just kind of does what he's supposed to be doing. And then he's cursing a lot because it's not working the way it's supposed to, which no one seems to care other than myself because I've told these people over and over again that their technology doesn't work. They just seem to look at me like, you're stupid. It's fine. That's what I get every single day. Every single job I've ever had in my adult life, people have called me stupid for not believing that the system was working, that everything within the corporation was fine and dandy. And you just look at it, it's like, well, this is broken, that's broken. Look at that guy over in the corner. He's sleeping in his chair. Look at that guy over there. He's vaping in the office. I kid you not. I had to work when I started working with the senior manager. Despite everything, he smoked inside of the office. And this isn't 20 years ago. This is 3 years ago that I had to deal with a guy that smoked inside of the office all day long. He blew his smoke, his cigarette smoke in my face all day long. And guess what? When someone does that to you, you know what it says? I have power over your livelihood. That's what Evil Corp has. It has the ability to simultaneously grab your boys and kick them at the same time while Fleece is giving you the love of a man that you never thought you would ever need. It really comes down to the bump, bump, dump, and at the end of the day, you have no soul because it's been crushed into a million pieces. But guess what? You're going to wake up the next day and go to work because I tell myself at least 100 times every night, I'm not going into work tomorrow, I'm calling out sick. But 6 a.m. rolls around, and guess what? I'm getting out of bed just like it's the normal routine. Like this morning, I got a text message at 6 o'clock in the morning from someone, and I messaged them back. It's like, what are you doing awake? You don't have a job. And they're like, well, I'm gonna go work out. And I was like, you know, working out and not having a job is, I don't know. It seems kind of counterproductive to me. But I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I went to go do a heavy lift. Thursday's my chest day. I mean, if there's going to be 2 days out of the 7 day work week or training week that I'm going to do, it's going to be chest. Every Thursday and Sunday is chest day, and for some reason, that's the only day that I can get excited about going to the gym. Wednesday and Saturday are my leg days. I do not enjoy leg day. Like, if you looked at my calves, I was looking at them last night while I was incredibly intoxicated. It's a great time to look at yourself, people. When you're heavily intoxicated and you look at yourself and you're like, damn, my legs are in great shape, but I hate doing legs. Like, I truly do not like it. And the other night I was watching Athlean X, and he was talking about the six golden exercises that Arnold Schwarzenegger used to build his entire routine on. It wasn't gallons of steroids, right? It was just hard work in the gym that made him that huge. And I'll tell you, I do all of those things. I'm not a fraction of that size. When you look at the era of bodybuilders when Arnold Schwarzenegger won all those tournaments, all those bodybuilding tournaments, the Mr. Universe that he won. I think he won it like 7 times in a row. You could just see steroids. Like, dude, that you don't look natural, and they're not looking natural look is the same look that I see when I look at corporate executives. There's something unnatural about them. I know I'm jealous because they're rich. I know I'm jealous because they drive nice cars. I know that they have way more job security than I'll ever have in my entire life. Even if I live to be a million years old, I will never have the job security that an executive has. I have the job security of a fry cook at McDonald's, which happens to be one of the titles of a video that I don't watch on a certain hub that's labeled Fry Cook. And it's actually called McDonald's Fry Cook. And for some reason, I've been watching the same video while shaking hands with the governor for years. I don't know what it is about it. From the standpoint of a normal human being that likes to look at things, it amuses me that they would call it manager and fry cook come together and bond. Because I think of it in a way as like, well, the fry cook. Is there any job lower than fry cook? The only job that I could think would be lower than that would be someone that had to clean up after some sort of party with lots of spraying. If you get my drift, the guy that has to clean the floors after that Diddy party. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this. This video has devolved to that. But having to clean up the floor after people have, soiled the floor with various things shooting out of their bodies, that could be the only job that I would consider to be lower, because sometimes when I go to the salon and I look at the floor and I see all those different stains when you come out of the machine, and you're just like, what is that? And someone is going to have to clean that. And I mean, I talk about this all the time because since I work in technology, cleaning technology is part of my job, right? And it's one of the least glamorous aspects of my profession is having to clean unknown elements off of keyboards and monitors. And I swear to you guys, I have seen things, many things on keyboards that I don't want to touch. Like sometimes when someone brings something in and I look at how crusty that keyboard is, there's a certain white crust on it, or it will be a shot across the monitor, right? It looks like they shot their best shot and it hit right the side and it went straight up, and you're like, I'm not touching that. I know what that is. I'm not touching that. But there are jobs in our society that truly do suck. But someone's got to do them, right? Someone has to do those jobs. And if you happen to be the person that has to do that job, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you found yourself in that position, because I'm sure that high priced women of the night find themselves in that situation all the time. It's like someone calls you, you look at them and like, oh my God, I'm not going near that guy. Like, and this is a true story. Back when I was working in a different building, like a couple of years ago, I called up an Uber because I couldn't drive to work that morning because I drank so much the night before that I was not suitable to drive to work. So I took an Uber to work. That was fine. But when I got out of work, I walked downstairs and I was waiting for my lady Uber driver. She drives up to me slowly and she says, "Not you." She drove away. I was like, oh my God, that hurts. It hurts. I mean, literally, she's just like, no, I don't think so. You're that guy who's going to get into my car and you're going to tie me up and you're going to take me back to your dungeon. Like my Gen Z says this to me all the time. It's like, you know what? I I say to him, you're that guy. When women meet you, they instantly smell the failure, right? It's not just the fact that you probably soiled your pants at some point that day and you smell poor. In fact, there was someone yesterday who told me in the office, it's like Gen Zero looks poor, and I'm like, ladies, you might be on to something that he might be poor. But that's just the way that some of us look. I mean, the proletariat is not pretty. The proletariat isn't full of Victoria's Secret models or oh my God, I can't think of the magazine right now off the top of my head. GQ models. When you think of the proletariat and the kind of things that they're forced to do for money, it's not pretty, people. Walk into any Walmart in America and you maybe will find that one token semi attractive Susie Rottencrotch that all the other grubby Walmart workers are trying to get with. And when I worked at Walmart, we had one. She wasn't she wasn't a 10, she wasn't a 5, but she worked at Walmart, and she wasn't shy about her needs. Like one night after a long shift, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I asked her, "What are you gonna do after work?" She's like, "I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna get into my underwear and then I'm gonna do stuff." And I'm like, well, thank you, fellow Walmart worker. That's not exactly what I wanted to hear. And then I was talking to my supervisor. He's like, "Yeah, I saw that girl leaving with so and so the other day, and so the other day." And I'm like, Susie sometimes gets around. Retail Susie is surrounded by men that work in retail. She knows who they are, she knows who she is. And sometimes I think that proletariat men forget how little society thinks of them, and they start like myself. I wouldn't go out with Susie Rottencrotch, the retail version of Susie Rottencrotch, but you know I had someone at work ask me if I was interested in a ride for for $100, and I like looked at her and I'm like, really? Do I have that look? And she's like, you have the look down for certain as a man that might be interested. And she didn't. It's not like she asked me in the hallway. She asked me over a company app. Anyhow, that happened yesterday. All right, this was supposed to be a 10-minute video, but I am currently waiting for my car to be repaired. My car's at the tire shop right now, and I'm actively waiting for them to call me back because they're closing in 30 minutes. And the last time I took my car to this place, I left it there for 8 hours at the tire shop, and I came back at 6 o'clock, and they told me that they didn't have time to fix it. I am hoping that they don't say this to me tonight because I accidentally left something that cost a couple bucks in the back seat because I ran out of time and I didn't have a chance to deal with that. Anyhow, in toxic positivity today, what do we got? We got the proles are ugly. And we got there's no hope in the world that rich people truly think that it's their prerogative to make certain that the that poor people stay poor and that they continually create like at my current job it's like they have the Halloween theme going on and you're just like rather than wasting money on pointless things to kind of let us know like raffles for instance, why would a job that employs adults who need money to pay rent, who need money to feed their kids, offer raffles for prizes that are not money, gold, or rent? They're none of those things. The goofy prizes at work are usually things that have little to no value. In fact, you don't want to know where I'm going with that. With that said, I think that I'm going to leave this video here. You guys are going to watch this today, which is Thursday at 5:30, because again, I can't really start my evening decline until I get my Promobile back. So I'm going to go ahead and start the editing process. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like. And if you got fleeced today at work, let me know down in the comments. I want to know how many of you can really, truly feel that when Fleece comes over and he tells you it's okay because he's a doctor, that you believe him.